everybody, welcome back to the Timepass Podcast. This is your host, Ashika. Thank you so much for joining me today, you guys. If you haven't done so already, please like me on Facebook at Timepass Podcast, follow me on Instagram at Timepass_podcast, and check out the YouTube channel. You can find all the episodes of the Timepass Podcast on YouTube. You can find the link to that in my bio on Instagram or on the website, timepasspodcast.com, along with the show notes for whatever show you're listening to with more details and info for you. And whatever listening platform you're using, whether it's iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please make sure that you are subscribed or followed. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right, you guys, I have a special guest here today. This is Missy Burks.
Hello.
She is my trainer.
Hey.
And Missy, you're a certified personal trainer, and you've been doing this for...
Oh gosh, I have been online training since 2015, but I've been doing in-person training for the last 5 years as well. So I'd say 6 years collectively.
And you're also a nutrition specialist.
I am. Fitness nutrition specialist. I'm also a behavior change specialist and a corrective exercise specialist.
You know, I need all those things in my life. This is why I train with you.
Most people do. They just don't realize it, and then they figure they're moving better, and hey, here we are.
You know? I know. I think it's a lot of fun, and I told you guys that I was going to be focusing on and talking about my show. I was going to be focusing on talking about my health and how I've really made an effort to put that kind of on the forefront for me. And so today we kind of want to talk about, I feel like it's a hard decision, right? A lot of times, a lot of us are conditioned to do things for other people, whether it's for work, for your kids, for your parents, for your significant other, whatever it is. And when you tell people no and do something for yourself, you feel really selfish and you feel really bad. And sometimes you can have somebody who's guilting you about it on the other side too.
Always, yep.
And so we wanted to talk about making that very healthy but conscious decision about putting me first.
Absolutely.
Right?
And not labeling it as selfish.
I agree. So, Missy, you have a company. It's called Body by Missy. Tell the time passers, that's what I call my audience, my listeners, a little bit about what you do before we dive into the me first.
Well, as Ashika said, I obviously am her trainer. So I am a certified personal trainer. So I do in-person training local to the Sacramento area. And I also do online training and online meal planning and coaching. A lot of people don't really understand what that is. So kind of the best way to explain like online coaching is, you know, I have clients from all over the country. I currently have a client in France. I've had clients in Ireland, all over Europe. It's so cool.
I was just going to ask you about that. I was like, I know you have clients in France.
No, it's pretty incredible because with the in-person training, you know, you're kind of stuck to a, you know, specific region. But with the online training, you can help anybody from all over the world. And I don't have to, especially with COVID and everything going on, I don't have to actually visit them in person. We meet on Zoom, we meet via FaceTime, whatever it may be. Obviously, you know, time differences, have to figure that one out. Like when I was training you when you were in Austin. And so, yeah, it's just really amazing. And so what I do is I kind of take a profile of the person that I'm going to train. I know that I sent you like a new client questionnaire. And it has important details of everything that we need to formulate a customized program for you. So I wouldn't, you know, if somebody was the same age, same weight, same everything as you, I wouldn't give them the same exact program that I gave you because it just doesn't make sense because you're still two very different people. So your background, everything about you, like kind of how we had that little consult where we met on Zoom, everything about you may be different than person over here, even though you might be the same age, height, weight, doesn't mean you have the same program at all. And I do see that with a lot of other trainers. I feel like a little bit more generic, and I try to kind of help people heal their relationship with food and exercise. I want it to be something that isn't a diet approach, but more of a lifestyle change because that's where real change happens. And so anybody can make you a program and give you, you know, eat egg whites, eat chicken broccoli rice, and work out, you know, 7 days a week, an hour of cardio. But is anybody actually going to, one, follow that? And two, are they really going to be able to follow that for a long period of time? Probably not. So I like to teach like sustainable habits so that way eventually when I'm not in the picture with you, you can do this on your own and create these lifestyle changes and just feel more confident about yourself.
I have to say, like, I was pleasantly surprised when I got my meal plan from you. Because the thing that I love about it, and I actually tell this anytime anybody asks me who my trainer is, but I always share this piece of information. a lot of times you'll get trainers and they'll be like, these are your macros. Eat this much of this and this much of this and this much of this. I don't know what that translates into.
Yeah.
I really don't. And the thing that I loved about my meal plan with you was it was like breakfast, and there was like 6 different recipes. And it was like lunch, same thing. Dinner, same thing. And then snack recipes and ideas too. And it was varied enough. And then I learned how to kind of do things, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But it was varied enough that I wasn't bored and I was still eating good food that I would normally eat.
Yeah, and that's kind of my goal. I think the most common thing I see is people under eating rather than overeating. I mean, of course you have those people that have had, 10, 20 years of overeating, and obviously those bad habits aren't going to take just overnight to fix, but majority of the time, specifically with women, I don't know if it's the media or just old standards or whatever, but I see them eating like 1,200 calories or less a day, like 1,000 calories. I'm like, a 2-year-old toddler should be eating that. Like, how are you ever going to build muscle and feel good about yourself? And you're just going to be in this like battle. Imagine having to go out to dinner and always order a salad. I'm not saying that's bad, okay? But like, you should be able to have something guilt-free and not feel bad about it.
Yep.
And like, that's my goal, is to get people to that point where their metabolisms are working hard. They've rebuilt their relationship with food, and they don't have to do this yo-yo dieting where they drop 60 pounds and then gain 70 and then they're back and forth their entire lives. We all know somebody like that. It's just a miserable way of living. You're always dieting. That's not how it should be. Like, it should just be incorporated in your lifestyle. I think the issue with it is, though, people just want quick results.
Yeah.
And the problem is, that's not quick. To repair your metabolism, to do that, it's not going to just take an 8-week meal plan. That's going to take some time. That's just the start of it. And that's where, the real coaching and everything comes in.
Yeah. I'd have to say that Missy is the only person that has ever been able to get me to drink a gallon of water multiple times since I've been training with you.
Wow. Okay, but that's my question. What worked with that? What was different about me versus whoever? I know you've had a trainer in the past. No ill will to anybody.
No.
What's working with that? That's what I always want to know. What's working?
I think it's just your personality, and we kind of gel, we click, and I'm somebody who likes to I like to have goals, and I like to achieve them, and you ask, you ask, you're like, did you drink your water? How are you doing on your water? So it's about holding me accountable a little bit.
It is.
Also, just it's been a lifestyle change for me. I started out working out with you, one virtual, one in person. Then when we're doing the boot camp, it's a fun experience for me. It's always different. Our workouts are varied. I'm sore after, and sometimes I'm not, but I still feel strong.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It's your personality, I think. Yeah,
and I know obviously that's why when you shop for a massage therapist, a personal trainer, just anybody in that industry, a nail tech, I will definitely go to somebody I connect with more rather than somebody who even, it just depends on, I guess, the surface too. But
it's a 2-way street. As much as we want to have, the client wants to have a good trainer, the trainer also wants to have a good client.
Yes.
You don't want to be training a client
and
who's not going to do anything.
Love my clients. I'm not kidding you. My clients have become best friends. I was just telling my fiance this. I'm I literally look forward to training all my clients. And there was a time where that wasn't always the case, okay? But you just do what you have to do. And you learn who maybe your ideal clientele is, and you learn who you want to help. Not that I want to help everybody, but sometimes it's true, just personalities just don't mesh.
Yep.
I think it's really rare when that happens, and I don't think there's any fault to either side. It's just sometimes you just don't click. And if you don't click with the person that you're trusting with your health and fitness goals, how are you going to get results? It just isn't going to happen. And I think anybody can kind of hide behind a screen and be like, here's your program. But the coaching and kind of that one-on-one support is where the real change happens. And I try to be kind of vulnerable with you guys too, and share my own experiences and share I'm far from perfect. And to help you guys show that I'm not sitting on some pedestal or anything like that. I'm just like you. I'm a normal person.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, let's get into this me first thing. Missy has a great story, y'all. So you didn't actually start out on this journey.
No,
And you had to choose you first in order to do what you now love doing.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got here?
Okay, I'm going to try to make this the Cliff Notes version because it's kind of a lot. Okay, so there's kind of 3 main events in my life that have led me to sitting in this spot today. I mean, obviously there's a bunch of little steps on the way. I would say the first event, I'll kind of go in chronological order.
Yep.
I shared this recently on my personal Instagram. I kind of keep business separate. Although I don't know why. Everybody follows me on both now.
That's how mine is. And I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Which one? I know. It used to be like that you should separate it. Now it's like, whatever, here I am.
Yeah.
But my dad actually, yesterday was the 10-year anniversary of his death. And he was actually murdered 10 years ago. Crazy, I know. And I've talked about this on another podcast, so I don't want to get like too in depth into it. And that's been a whole journey for me. But at the time, because of the court process and everything we were going through, I was young. I was 19 years old, and I was kind of figuring out what I even wanted to do in life. And I was kind of taking some classes at community college, thought I had this route I wanted to go, and I was kind of second guessing it. And I got an interest in law enforcement. And I wondered how cool would it be to be able to help somebody that's going through what I'm going through, whether that was like a witness victim advocate or a police officer, something similar like that. I didn't know if I wanted to even be an attorney. So I actually asked my victim witness advocate for my case, who I still keep in touch with to this day.
That's nice.
He's amazing. And I asked him, do you guys have any internships? I just want to check it out and see if this is something that appeals to me. So he did. I went through the background process, and he set me up with an unpaid internship. So imagine, working full-time, school full-time, and internship. It was great. Good times. But I wouldn't trade that for the world. And I interned at the DA's office. And and it was interesting. I did juvenile investigations, and it was kind of just the busy work for DAs. But, you got to start somewhere. And I was like, okay, I like this. Now I want to get paid doing something similar. So I was kind of looking for entry-level jobs. So I got hired on with a local law enforcement agency as a community service officer.
Nice.
And I worked on patrol with them for 3 years. And then I was finished my degree, and I actually was figuring out what route I wanted to go in law enforcement. I had figured out I didn't want to be a police officer forever. It just, for me, wasn't the answer. And I wanted to kind of see the beginning and the end of people and try to help them and kind of go further through that. So I ended up getting hired on with a local probation agency, a county agency, and I worked there for the last 5 years. It was a great job. I mean, it was my dream job. It really was. People don't get into that job. Out of 100 interviews, I think 3 of us got hired.
Wow.
And I worked my way up the ranks. I did so many cool positions. I did, some crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's nuts. I can't believe I did that. But it was really fun, really rewarding, because I did get to help a lot of people. It was very challenging. I always tell people, the best way to describe it is challenging, yet rewarding. Yeah. And it was just taking its toll on me mentally. That's really what it came down to. And then in 2018, I actually had started having heart issues. And they came out of nowhere, and that's a whole separate story. But long story short, I had to have heart surgery. And it kind of humbled me, because I was doing my training, because I was training. So I was training part-time after work, and I was doing my normal probation job. And it was just, I was burnt out. And I was like, I love both. Where do I go with this? I'm totally burnt out. Well, it was funny. I had to sit and do nothing for a year. Couldn't work out for a year, couldn't do nothing. And it made me just reevaluate my priorities. And I truly, it's crazy to think, I'm surprised I don't even know if I want to put this in the universe, but I was very close to everything going. It was a very crazy experience, because, I was 25 years old, and it made me really evaluate my health and be like, I need fitness as a priority. Not that it wasn't a priority, but fitness should be the ultimate priority, and health. And I wanted to share that with other people, especially after having to take a whole year off. It really showed me how important it was in my life, and my self-care and my mental health and everything. So bounce back, I'm doing the probation work. The pandemic happens. I'm training out of a gym in Sacramento after my probation job, and on the weekends, and online training. And then the pandemic happens, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'd already kind of put this in the universe. I was like, I would love to, make this fitness thing. I didn't even know where to go with it, but I was like, I'd love to do it full time. I didn't know how. And I knew the probation job, it was amazing job, great benefits, great everything, security, good money. But it just wasn't fulfilling in the way I thought it was going to be. And I don't know how else to describe that, because I have mad respect for people in that profession, but for me, it just wasn't fulfilling the way I thought it would be. And I was looking at the clock every day, waiting for the time to be over. Yep. I was waiting to train my clients. And I was like, I have 28 more years of this?
Yeah.
No. Hell no. So I was like, okay, how can I make this happen? I remember like on sticky notes, like crunching numbers of clients. I remember like at one point, like especially with the pandemic, my business took off because of the online.
Yeah.
And so I moved all my clients online, and thank goodness, because I know not a lot of other businesses were as fortunate. So, you know, thank goodness. And I'll be honest, I'm not very tech savvy, but I've learned to be. Like, I'm one of those people that I don't even like updating my iPhone. So, like, I need help for everything. I'm just not tech savvy, but I was like, you know what? You're going to have to step outside of your comfort zone if you want to make this work. So, literally in 2019, 2020, or I guess it was 2020. So, 2020, when this all happened last summer, I'm like working my 9 to 5, coming home, training clients from 6 to 9 p.m. and doing that 6 to 7 days a week. And I remember looking at my fiance, who was only my boyfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do both forever. I can't. And he goes, well, you're going to have to figure it out. And so I prayed, I meditated, no answers. And I'm like, well, I guess that is my answer. I just got to keep doing both, because I can't fathom like giving up this probation job I've worked my
this
degree for.
Great job.
Yeah.
Yes.
People literally it's so hard to get into. And then, you know, and my dream job, give that up. And then, you know, do this full time, and the unknown is so scary. But I'm always a firm believer. Like, I bought my house young. I bought my house at 25. You know, I'm a big goal setter. Nothing wrong with that. But then what? And so I can ask myself that. So you have this dream job. Now what? You're still not truly happy. So I'm like, all right, now I need to start doing what truly makes me happy and put myself first. So I made the decision last year that February 1st, 2021, I was going to quit my probation job. And everyone, Mike, my fiance, he kept asking, like, why February 1st? Why not January 1st? And I was like, I don't know. But it's just, I don't know. But and this was like 8 months ahead, I'd made the decision.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just had to commit to myself, because I knew fear was going to get in the way. And like one of my biggest, or one of my favorite sayings is faith over fear, especially now. And I just know the way I'm wired, I won't fail. Like, I'll work 7 jobs if I have to make things work or whatever. Like, you go assign me to pick up trash, I'll be the best trash picker upper there is. Like, that's just how I'm wired, you know?
Yeah.
And so when I do something, I put my heart in it. So I did. I remember, like, typing my resignation letter, and it was the scariest feeling in the world. And for once in my life, I put me first. I didn't even tell my mom. I did it. And I didn't know how I was going to make it work. I had ideas, and I did. And it's amazing, and I'm blessed. And it's been a crazy wild ride.
There's no looking back now.
No.
There's no looking back.
Bye.
Onwards and upwards.
100%, yeah.
Onwards
100%.
and upwards, for sure, for sure. I can see that sort of personality in you a little bit, just because, you know, you're good when you're training.
She's saying I can be mean.
I'm like, I can see. No, you're never mean.
But like the command presence.
I can. Yeah, you do. You command a presence a little bit. Okay. You know? And so I can see that, but I can't imagine you doing anything else except for what you're doing right now. You're so passionate about it.
And what's crazy is, like, it's so funny. I wear the little shirts to bed sometimes, because it's like a little shirt that we would wear in the office.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to like turn in all my other gear, obviously. And so I'll wear them to bed, and I was like brushing my teeth the other night, and I was like telling my fiance, I was like, he's like, oh, you're wearing your little shirt to bed, huh? And I was like, well, what am I going to throw it away? That's weird to me. And I'm like, this just seems like a whole nother life. I've changed so much. And I've, like, my confidence is built, and, like, who I am now is not who I even was a year ago. Like, I'm a totally different woman, and I just love that woman.
Yep.
You know?
I love that. And it's so funny because you were talking about, like, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and you're like, I don't even know. I had to learn tech. That's what I had to do with the show.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know how to put on a podcast.
No, and it's scary. Change is scary.
Yep.
It's so scary. And people stay in that 9 to 5, and this is no knock, but I always tell people, life is too short. Like, and that's the way I kept telling myself, especially with all my dad stuff. I'm like, tomorrow's never promised. Am I just going to work at a job for somebody else that I'm, like, wondering what else is out there? I have to give this a try, because if I don't, I'm always going to wonder what if, and I don't want to live a life like that.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why I do travel alone, because I'd love to go with my friends, but if they can't make it work,
don't wait on everyone else.
I'm not waiting on them. I'm going to put me first, and I'm going to do something that I really, really enjoy doing.
That's important.
I know. Mm-hmm. So...
Sorry, I didn't mean to ramble.
No, you're answering the question.
I tried to, like, tie it all together.
No, that was good. But it's kind of interesting. You were saying that you love training your clients because, you know, they're all, like, friends with you. But it's very interesting how we met because you like to call yourself, like, the friendly...
neighborhood trainer.
Yes, the friendly neighborhood trainer. So you train one of my good friends who's actually been on the show, Kelsey.
Okay.
She was on the show. last season.
Oh my gosh, I want to listen now.
Okay. It was the after show to the toxic dating cycle.
Okay, I love
so
that.
Season 1. Her and my other friend Angeline, who was also on the show, that same episode, actually.
Love.
In Season 1, we were at Angeline's house having dinner, and Kelsey knew that I had a trainer, and I was training them. Like, guys, my trainer's the best. My trainer's the best. You guys should really train with her.
Aww.
And Angeline wasn't seeing anybody, for fitness, but she had fitness goals,
Yeah.
And so I think she contacted you right away.
Speaking of, I haven't posted her progress photos, but holy moly.
I haven't seen her.
Wait till I show you. I don't know what happened in the last few weeks, but she just stepped it up. Like something, I'm not kidding you. And she was, sorry, I digress. I just get excited.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna ask you that question later. But I think Angeline hopped right on. I was still seeing my other trainer, but it was hard. I'm a busy person. Mm-hmm. It was hard because she was 100% in person, same date, set time, which is really hard for me as a mom and a podcast host and a full-time person.
I get it.
It was hard, and then my job in the summers is super busy, so I was working 6 days a week, and I just couldn't make it work anymore to see, because I need me time too. Yeah, it's important.
It's important. Yeah. You won't want the fitness to be an extra stressor. It should actually be a stress reliever.
Yep.
So I get that. Yeah.
And so then I was like, I reached out to Kelsey and I was like, what's your trainer's name again? I was like, and she's like, oh, she's awesome. Angeline's training with her too. Like, she's great. And then I reached out to you, and it was funny because the first time I went to see you in person, I was like sitting there waiting.
Aww.
And I remember this girl walked by and she's like, hey. And I was like, hi. And then I looked at her because she's looking at me familiarly.
Yeah, like I know you from somewhere.
And I'm like, I know you. And she's like, yeah, you know me. She didn't have any makeup on. That's not how I see people, right?
Yeah.
And
out of their environment.
Out of their environment. And so it turns out you train so many of our friends.
I do. They always kid around. They have these events at their house. They're like, we kind of just want to invite you to one. And I'm like, that's fine. You can. I was like, you guys know me. I'm pretty busy, but I'm so down to come. I'm like, yes. There was one point when they were at a bachelorette party, and I trained 8 out of 9 of the people there. Yes. It was so funny. I was like, I love it. Yes.
That's crazy, but yeah, I think that it's a cute little story.
It is, and obviously, somebody's finding a benefit to it, and so I love that because, and I never tell what I do with other people. I try to keep it confidential. Somebody asks, "Oh, are you training blah blah blah?" Whatever, and so I try to keep it a little bit confidential. Yeah. But if it's a friend referral, they know.
They know. We know, and then I saw another friend there, so it's neat. It's neat for us because we all and we can cheer each other, and it's
I've seen you working out with Missy.
Yeah. It's totally fun.
It's a healthy environment, and I feel like how cool is it? Us women sometimes will go on coffee dates, or we'll go grab a margarita. What about going to work out with your girlfriends? How cool is that?
We keep saying that we want to do that for boot camp one day, have the girls come over here, and then we can do boot camp in that front room, but everybody's
boot camp's virtual, so that's why she's saying that.
Yeah. Everybody's schedule is so tight that it's been hard to coordinate.
I get it.
Anyway, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but obviously you've been training for several years now, and you've probably seen a lot of people go through some amazing transformations without breaching any sort of client-trainer confidentiality. Can you share one of your most favorite transformations?
So this one just comes to me. I have many. I was counting the other day how many online clients I've helped, and I've helped over 350. And so that's insane to me, over 350. And that was 4 months ago. So I know that number is probably closer to 400. So to be honest, sometimes, especially if it's a client from years ago, I have so many people in my phone that's blah 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 client, blah blah client. I'm like, oh gosh, which Amanda is that? Which I'm trying to connect the dots just because if it's been a while and they're reconnecting with me. But one particular, it's a male, and if he listens to this or watches this, he's gonna know it's totally him.
Okay.
And he still trains with me, and it's really cool. I think I've been training him for 2 years now.
Okay.
And he actually is I think I can say this without breaching confidentiality. I met him through my fiance. He works with my fiance.
Okay.
And him and his fiance both trained with me. And she trains with me on and off. And, he's lost over 50 pounds. And most people are like, oh, it's not 100. It's not this. But what's more to me than that is what's really cool is he's actually he is trying to be a NASM certified personal trainer, which is what I am. Yeah. And he went through a course I offered at the beginning of this year called Train the Trainer. And he was so intrigued by his journey with me that he wanted to become a trainer, or at least start doing it on the side.
Neat.
And this is a guy who we would have our one-on-one check-ins, and he needed his hand held for everything. He was one of those, and I'm sorry if you're watching this, buddy. He was one of those. It was a struggle. He was hard, and I was I don't know if we're gonna make it. And I trained him in person, and then when the pandemic hit, we moved fully online. And now we're back in person. But it was a struggle. He wasn't losing a lot of weight at first. He was slowly getting habits, but he wasn't even drinking a glass of water a day. It was little thing. It was so hard, and I was oh my gosh. But I was I'm not going to give up on him.
Yeah.
And he was still showing up to our calls, and he would just be raw with me. If he was it was a really bad week, I ate my feelings, I did this. And a lot of it stems from old stuff. Mm-hmm. And I actually referred him to a therapist. And I thought that was really healthy, because there was some things, although sometimes I do feel like a therapist.
Yeah.
There was some things that I felt like he needed addressing from childhood and kind of past trauma and stuff that I thought some of the food coping was surrounding. So of course I could help with some of the food stuff, but so I think that, coupled with his consistency and dedication, not only has he lost over 50 pounds, which is a significant weight loss.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And he wasn't a severely overweight person, just really unhealthy habits. He is looking so built. And we've become such good friends. I invited him to my wedding.
Aww.
So him and his fiance are coming to my wedding. And this is somebody I feel and I know he shared this with me, I've changed his life, but in reality, he's really changed my life. And it's just a really cool story, and I know he'll be a lifelong friend, even if he's not a lifelong client. And that's just a perfect example of, he knows what he's doing now, but maybe he just wants the accountability, and we've weaned him off. I had him on a program. I was doing check-ins with him in person, virtual, and we slowly weaned him off, and he's just been killing it. He goes to the gym on his own 5 days a week. He loves it. He lifts heavy. It's just really cool to watch him become this, to gain the confidence that he has always wanted. I don't even think he realizes this, so I'm going to tell him to listen to this.
It's interesting, because he actually, to have habits like that, he had to choose me first too.
Yeah.
Down the road, he had to.
Yep.
It's a very conscious decision that people need to make. Mm-hmm. And I do feel like sometimes it's hard when you're around people that don't support that.
Oh, very.
Which is why I think you being our friendly neighborhood trainer is great, because that's a friend circle. They're not my inner friend circle, but Kelsey and Angelina are. Mm-hmm. But that's a friend circle, acquaintances, most of them. But the fact that they're like-minded people.
Yes, and have similar goals and are taking care of themselves.
Yes.
Now, there's that saying, I don't know who made it up, but you are a combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I truly believe that. If you want to become a business owner, you need to hang around business owners. If you want to become a better version of yourself, you need to surround yourself with people that are working on themselves. Yep. And otherwise, you're going to sit with people that have different conversations otherwise.
And I would have to say, my 2 best friends, the after show crew, they're on it. I love noodles. Okay?
Girl, me too.
I love noodles. And I remember when I first started training with you, they were like, no noodles. And I was like, I'm allowed. I get 2 days. I'm allowed.
No, you can.
And they're like, 2 days.
Oh,
they're not even 2 days, 2 meals. They're like, no noodles.
I just love bread too. Sorry, I know. bread and noodles, but in moderation, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just nice to have people like that
that check you.
That check you, and they support you, and they're and they're just funny. They're like, oh, you have training tonight, so okay, we'll either see you after.
That's
or
awesome
we'll
though, because it's a healthy thing for you, and you show up as a better mom, you show up as a better coworker, you show up as a better friend, you show up as a better you for you when you take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
I truly believe that you have to put yourself first, and it's not selfish. It's actually selfish not to.
I agree, because the way I think about it is if I didn't put myself first, I'm probably shortening the amount of time I have to spend with my kid.
Absolutely. Or it's not the best version of you.
Yeah.
Or they get this watered down version of you, and I always tell people, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Nope.
You really can't. And that looks different for everybody, but you just can't. And I think that really taking charge of your health is what should be everyone's number 1 priority. And you notice I didn't say working out. I said taking charge of your health, because that looks different for everybody.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of health ailments and just everything in general would be would be a lot less if you really just focused on inner. And I always say it's like a triangle. It's mental, spiritual, and physical. And you kind of have to take care of the 3 triangles. And sometimes you put more energy towards mental. Sometimes you put more energy towards physical. But there's got to be all 3 to complete this little balance inside of us.
That's great. I don't think I've ever heard you say that.
Yeah.
I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that. That's super cute.
I would make a triangle, but I don't know if I can. I always try to do this, but I'm like, I don't know what that looks like. Never mind.
Yeah, it's a triangle.
That's why I'm a trainer.
Okay, so obviously this is something that really works for me. Obviously I follow you on Instagram because you're my trainer. Mm-hmm. And it's something that I see that you post that I love that you do because it's motivation for me. But all your little like motivational quotes that you post throughout the day, or you'll just rant about something on your story or whatever it is. Why do you do that? Do you feel like it makes a difference for you and for your clients? I know for me as your client, it does make a difference to me. Yeah. Because it's inspirational, it's motivational. But why do you do it? And I want to say it's a big part of your Instagram profile.
I would say it is too. Yeah. I would say a lot of people follow me like for motivation or whatever. Yes. And my biggest thing is like, I actually just posted this today. Discipline is greater than motivation. Not everyone's always motivated, and so I have to remember, sometimes I have to like step back and put myself in your guys' shoes and remember everyone has to start somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I like to think like, I mean, when I started my fitness journey, Instagram was barely a thing. I think people posted pictures of their food only.
It kind of was. Yeah. Or selfies. All selfies and all food.
It was weird. And so I just feel like if I'm going to have a space where I can use that platform to motivate people, and people like you and other clients have shared with me that it helps them, then I'm going to continue doing it. Because I know that if I was scrolling through Instagram and like, you know, you might see political stuff, you might see this stuff, whatever. I want to be that little sprinkle of positivity in people's lives. Like, I want to be the light that's shining through, that people are like, okay, I want to see more stuff of what she has. Okay, I'm going to get up off my butt and I'm going to go for a walk. Like, that's what I want.
That's kind of what it is. When I see stuff that you're doing, I'm like, oh, did I drink my water? Like, oh, I got to get a workout. You know, like, it's a good inspiration, it's a good motivation, but it's a good reminder.
It is. And like, you know, I know a lot of people just like tap through, like I'm aware because I do that to people, like, you know, especially depending on what mood I'm in, I might be like, oh my gosh, she's talking too much, I can't listen to her. Like, we've all done that, and that's fine. That's totally fine. But there might be just one person that takes away something positive from that, and maybe that one person just needed to hear that, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. I think I really love that part about your Instagram account.
Thank you.
Yeah, because
I like second guess myself. I have like a team coaching call I do on Monday nights, and they were all giving me such good feedback, and it was so cute because it was unprompted. And they're like, we just love how real you are on Instagram. I'm like, wait, really? And I'm like, because I just second guess myself. You know, there's like people with thousands and millions of followers that show their booty and do all this, and I just try to be like this normal person, just because. But I also like to share my knowledge, and I feel like maybe I don't do a great job of that. But I want to show people like, you can do it. I'm not any more motivated than you. I don't have any more time than anybody else. Yep. So if I can do it, if she can do it, if he can do it, you can do it.
Yep.
And just, you know, like I said, sprinkle of positivity in people's little feeds. Here you go.
I love that. Now, Missy, this is the Timepass Podcast, and primarily we talk about dating and relationships.
I know, I listen, I love.
You, congratulations, are getting married here very soon. He put a ring on it, y'all. He put a ring on it.
Smart man. We just got our marriage license today, too.
You did?
Yeah, and he's joking. Oh my gosh, so we're in the county office, and for those of you that know my fiance, he's like a total jokester. He doesn't take anything seriously. Like, it's sometimes an issue.
Tell him he's going to wake up one day and his car's going to be out of his driveway.
Right.
I want his car.
So, right, it's a nice car.
It is.
We're there, and what did he say? So we're like signing paperwork or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, is there like a 30-day return policy on this?" And I'm laughing, right? I'm like, "Oh, like I'm so confident in our relationship." I'm like, "Ah," and the lady just is staring at us. Never mind. He's kidding.
She's like a county worker.
She's the one that's so hard with the mask. You know, she's all.
Oh yeah.
This is her.
She's probably like, really? You're not. Never mind.
Yeah.
We are serious about
this. He's a great man. Love him. I'm very lucky.
Yes, you are. So congratulations on that. That's a huge feat for a lot of people, male and female, to find your person.
It is.
Since you are kind of on the other side, what is one thing you don't miss about being single?
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna be real. I actually enjoy being single, but no.
There are perks to it.
I'm very independent, but Mike's very independent, so we work well.
Okay.
But something I don't miss about being single, oh, that's a hard one because it's so hard when you're in like a really good relationship. To be honest, like I wouldn't go back. So I've never had anybody ask me that, but I've also never been in a really good relationship. I guess what I don't miss about being single, I guess just the like, companionship. You kind of, and not just like, there's a difference between friendship and like a person that's like down for you no matter what.
Yes.
And I'm not saying I have friends that are pretty much down for me no matter what, but like I don't like kiss them or cuddle them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so it's just somebody that at the end of the day has your back and is there because they want to be there. But so I guess I would say being single, you don't
have that.
Yeah, and sometimes sometimes you just want to cuddle up and watch a movie with somebody and not just somebody from Tinder.
Yeah.
And I'll be real, I actually
you wouldn't be cuddling.
You know what I mean? I mean, I actually never did Tinder, but I've just heard really bad stories. And so, sometimes you just want someone that's like really down for you and just down to be there for you. And, you can't just like really call them up. But I also think it creates like some good you time and like self-reflection time too.
It does.
And I don't miss dating. I really don't. No.
No.
Luckily, I was like on a mission to not date when I met Mike. So he was like the first guy that I actually dated after my ex. And I was like, oh, this is weird. And it just worked really well. And I was like, this is real weird. It's like you go forever searching for that person and then like boom, randomly they drop into your life,
That's what they say happens though.
It does.
That's what they say happens.
It does.
I don't know if I believe them, but now you're over here telling me that
but
too.
But also what's crazy is we had like the same group of friends and stuff.
Huh.
We met in a wedding. We were both in a wedding. And I'm like, how do you know them? But I haven't met you. Like, I'm over at their house. And he's like, oh, did you go to this? And I said, oh, no, I had to work that day. And I said, did you go to their housewarming? He's like, no, I had to work. So we had just missed each other. And I truly believe in timing.
Timing is everything.
And if we would have met anywhere sooner in life, we wouldn't have worked. We both had work to do.
Huh. Mm-hmm. Divine timing is a thing. Mm-hmm. I truly believe in divine timing.
I do.
Okay. People, like we kind of started off talking about it, but people do struggle to put themselves first, to put me first. Do you have any practical tips that you could give for somebody who's kind of struggling to put their health forward?
I would just say everyone has to start somewhere. So people get overwhelmed, and I see a lot of people kind of go all in, where they're like 5 days a week, they're on their diet, they're on this, and then they just get like totally burnt out.
Yes.
It's like that all or nothing mentality. So I would say just start small. So like if you want to put your health first, and like let's say your goal is 20 pounds of weight loss, but you're like, where do I even start? I don't work out, I don't do this, I just sit and eat top ramen and watch Netflix. That's fine, right? But like, where do you start? You start by bringing your lunch to work. Maybe 2 days a week. That's it. People are like, well, that's not going to do anything. You'd be surprised. Once you're bringing your lunch 2 days a week, maybe for 2 weeks, then start drinking more water. Once you have those two things down, you add something else. Maybe go for a walk on your lunchtime break. Just little things that can compound, and then they start to add up. And then that way, it's not like you're working out, stop working out, working out, stop working out. These are just things that are part of your life. And you won't have to go back to that previous life. Like, this is just your new lifestyle. So just starting somewhere. Just honestly, like if you're trying to like work out in the morning, I know we've talked about the struggle.
Yes, the struggle is real.
It really is. If you're trying to work out in the morning, laying your clothes out before bed. Okay, your alarm goes off, you don't get up. That's okay, you laid your clothes out. Next morning, maybe you put the shoes on, tie them. You don't do anything, that's okay. It's like just starting somewhere and building those habits and like just getting the mind prepared. That's the hardest thing, is it's overcoming our mind. And just knowing that truly health is everything. Health is wealth. Like at the end of the day, especially like with my heart issues and everything, I literally couldn't walk, do anything, drive, nothing for like months and months, almost a year. And you know how I am.
You're such a busy. I can't.
It was terrible. It was terrible, and
yeah.
so it really put things into perspective for me. Not that I could have totally controlled that, because that was not something I can control. But it truly makes you appreciate what you have, and like I think I put this in your meal plan. It's one of my favorite fitness quotes. Like, I don't know the whole thing by heart, but appreciate the incredible ability you have to become fit. Some people don't have any meals to prepare, and you're sitting here complaining about eating healthy. Not you. I'm just saying in general. And some people can't even walk, and you're sitting here complaining about working out. So it's like all in perspective.
Yep, I would have to say. And it's actually no joke. Those are really good tips. It's actually no joke, but people make fun of me at work because I show up with my lunch bag.
Oh yeah, it's like a duffel bag.
It's got my breakfast, my lunch, my snacks, my 2 snacks, sometimes my shaker bottle with my protein stuff in it, and it's like, but then people don't see me leave my office. Like, they're like, what are you doing there? Right? And I'm like, do you not see me walk in with my briefcase of food?
People used to always ask me to go out to lunch, and I felt almost like discluded for a while, but it was funny. Then people slowly started bringing their lunch, and we'd like eat in the break room or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I just knew that I feel better physically, mentally, spiritually, like we talked about, when I take control and take care of my health. When I drink my water, when I take my vitamins, when I get some kind of workout in, when I eat healthy, I feel good and I show up well. I notice a difference when something's missing. And sure, that's taken me a long time to kind of like be aware of my body and my surroundings. But I know I show up better when I take control of my own health.
Yep. I've seen a change in just my energy levels and all kinds. I gave up coffee through this journey.
So crazy. I don't know if I could do that one.
I don't drink coffee anymore. It's been 3 weeks now.
Holy moly, that's awesome.
3 weeks now.
That's really cool though. That's really cool.
Because I'm drinking so much damn water, Missy.
You ain't got nothing else to worry about when you drink your water.
There's no space for anything. And then the hot water lemon that I have every morning, which is like my morning ritual, I found that just wakes me up to a different level.
Yeah.
It does. It wakes me up to a different level. If I like was bad the night before and I was like drinking or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and I have that. It also helps with like hangovers. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying hot water lemon is a good thing.
Your body is like wanting all these nutrients and stuff. Like our bodies weren't made to sit on the couch and not do anything. Our bodies weren't made to sit at a desk 8 hours a day. That's just not what we were meant to do, but it's just slowly how we've evolved. So we almost have to combat like everything. I mean, right now, if we wanted food, I don't know, In-N-Out, we could have In-N-Out here in 30 minutes.
Yep.
We could literally not leave, pay for it on an app, and have it here in 30 minutes. Like, what a world do we live in? But you have to figure out how to combat that. You have to. Otherwise, it's going to take control. And in the end, you're just going to suffer from it, you know?
Yeah. I don't even have to say, one of my like most unhealthy things that I used to do was like eat one meal a day.
Yep. So many people.
I was so bad at that. And when I first got my meal plan, I was like, how am I going to eat all this food?
Right? That's what most people say. That. Like,
how am I going to eat all this food? After not even maybe a week, I found myself getting hungry every 2.5 hours or so.
That's always a good sign.
I found myself getting hungry, and now it's like,
and you look amazing. You look so good. Like you feel good too. And I know like a lot of people, it's hard to measure progress on how you feel, right? Like people will be like, "Wow, I only lost 3 pounds on your program." I'd be like, but how do you feel and how much you're eating? Like you came to me eating 1,000 calories, now you're eating 1,800, and you're like working out all the time, and you're feeling good, and you have energy, and It's like. And it's hard because people don't see that, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I know health is wealth. It's health is everything. I mean, it's number one.
People focus on the numbers a lot, I feel.
They do. And it can be discouraging. And it's, I've caught myself doing it. Like, okay, I tell my clients not to do this. Why am I doing it? But it's one of the most old school ways to kind of measure progress.
Yeah.
But I'm really big on progress pictures. So that's what I always recommend if anybody's starting their fitness journey too. And this is the hardest step. A lot of people don't want to do this.
I hate taking your progress pictures.
I hate it for me. I hate mine too. I hate them. Because who just stands like like nobody stands like that, we all kind of like try on stuff and turns like that's what we do. Yeah. But it's so important because sometimes you don't realize how far you've come. And Angeline was one of the ones that told me, she was like, I am so glad I took those pictures. I truly didn't see any physical changes, and when you did the side-by-sides, holy moly. And I'm going to post them, so just wait. I have them in my queue.
I told you, I showed my mom mine, and I did a side-by-side, and she was like, I can tell there, and it makes a difference.
But you're doing it in a healthy way. You're not starving yourself. You're not doing endless amounts of cardio. You have fun with your workouts.
Yep.
I mean, like, we've made a connection. How cool is that?
Yeah.
We would have never met. Like, I would not be here if you hadn't reached out to train with me.
Yep. Yep.
So
okay, cool. Missy's amazing, guys. Train with her. Get on the roster. Join us. We're fun people.
We are.
So if people want to get in touch with you, Missy, how can they get a hold of you?
So I have an Instagram at body, BODY, by Missy with an I. So body by MISSI_. Also bodybymissy.com, same exact thing. So yeah.
Awesome. And I will link all your stuff on the show notes on the website at timepasspodcast.com. Missy, any plans for the future? You're looking onward and upwards, right?
Yeah, I have big plans. Honestly, I think I've shared with you privately, so I'm really excited. I will be announcing probably before this year is over, my big plans, and this has been something that's been in the works for like a long time, so I can't wait to share with you all, so stay tuned.
Yay! Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Missy.
Thank you for having me.
I had a great time talking with you.
Yeah.
It's always a great time.
I know.
Even when we're training, you guys. I would say, like Missy said, put yourself first. You need to do it for your own health, so you can be present in the future for your kids, for your family, whatever it is, so you can feel better. It's a very hard decision. I know. I've been there. I did it. But I had to make a conscious decision a year ago to start putting my health first. And it hasn't been easy, but now I'm in the groove.
Yeah.
And I would just say, take the leap. And like Missy said, start slow. Start slow.
Just start somewhere.
Yeah, start somewhere. All right, you guys, that's all we have for you today. If you haven't done so already, please follow me on Instagram at Timepass_podcast. Check the link in bio where you can watch this whole episode on YouTube. Check me out on Instagram. And if you have a second, if you like this episode, you're listening to the Timepass Podcast, you are a Time Passer, I will ask you to please share this episode with somebody. Share it with somebody who you think needs it. Share it with somebody who you think would benefit from it. If you even share it with just one person, I would greatly appreciate it. If you have a second, give me a quick review on iPodcasts or Spotify as well. I would greatly appreciate it. That's all we got for you guys. As I always say, stay authentic, choose yourself first, and I'll see you next time. Bye.